This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Shalom Aleichem, good morning. Welcome to our viewers on Torah Anytime as well. I want to dedicate the shir to Ilui Nishmas of Shlomo Zalman ben Eliyahu Alav HaSholom. Shir is sponsored by Shimon Freis, Mitzvah Hashem, and Shama should have a constant aliyah in the Oilemos HaElyonim, as well as to Ben Zion Ben Dosa, him and his family should be able to see open and revealed Siyata Dishmaya Mitzvah Hashem. As I mentioned last week, this coming Sunday and Monday, the 28th and the 29th of Shvat, Sunday, Monday, is the annual campaign of Torah Anytime, which anyone has ever used it or ever heard of it, I think owes Hakara Satoiv to the greatest yeshiva, biggest yeshiva ever in the history of the world. Their growth is spectacular and awe-inspiring, and the numbers are just phenomenal. Share with you a few numbers. 1.6 million users worldwide. They're just constantly growing and growing. 40 million shiurim have been watched and listened to thus far this year. That's again 40 million. Who want to have a part in this? More than 400,000 shiurim are available and can be accessed 24/7. And 24/7 is true, because when it's Shabbos for us, it's still not Shabbos in the States, it's mostly Shabbos already in Australia. So 24/7 somebody is watching, can watch, can be us. So if anyone has some Hakara Satoiv to Torah Anytime, and we must have, you can join the $1 a day program. You can do $2 a day, $3 a day, and again, I checked with major poskim, and one is allowed to give even more than that. So you have no problem. Sfardim, Ashkenazim all agree. All Sfardim, all poskim agree that it's possible to do that. So the greatest yeshiva in the world, the greatest campaign in the world, the most successful campaign, and we can have a part of that. Parshas Yisro follows right after Parshas Mishpatim. What's the connection between the two? Why Yisro follows right after Mishpatim? You want to say something? I can't hear you.
Mishpatim after Yitro. The other way around.
What did I say? Yisro?
Yeah.
The other way around. Start again. Parshas Mishpatim follows right after Parshas Yisro. I said reverse? Why is that? I want to see that you're, Baruch Hashem, awake and with me. Why is Mishpatim right after Yisro? If I'm going to trick you, right? That's what you said. Says the Sefono. In Parshas Yisro, the Torah says, Lo tachamo, don't covet. What should you covet? Kol asher lerecha, everything your friend owns. But I don't know exactly what belongs to him and what belongs to my. How does it work? Comes the Torah in Parshas Mishpatim and says, and Mishpatim is basically what Baba Kaman, Baba Metzi, and Baba Basa comes from. So the Torah says, now you'll know, Kol asher lerecha, what belongs to you, what belongs to your friend. Maybe you'll be able to apply what I told you a few psukim ago. Lo tachamo, don't covet. What? Kol asher lerecha. This tells you Kol asher lerecha and Kol asher to you. And then you know how to apply Loi tachamo. That's the Sephora says. Medrash Gadol says, it's a mashal. The king's son was taking a stroll, he was walking in the marketplace, and he saw the king's friend. And the king's friend saw the prince, says, wow, Shalom Aleichem, I want to give you something. And he gave him some precious stones and some pearls, and his son was very happy. Then the son goes back, when he goes back to the palace, and he sees his father, the king, and the king says to the guy in charge of all the treasures, do me a favor, give a lot to my son. Because otherwise he's going to think that I can't give him anything, and all he has is only from my friend. So too says HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Moshe. You got an eitzah about Mishpatim from Yisro. So now, give Klal Yisrael all the Mishpatim. Otherwise they think only Yisro can provide you eitzahs how to conduct. We also don't have some rules. And therefore, Ele HaMishpatim, right after Yisro comes with his eitzah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I have some of mine, and you apply them. Ele HaMishpatim, asher tasim lifnayim.
Why did you come first?
Medrash Gadol.
Why did you come first? When we thought that we would have come first.
Because Yisro also should gain something.
He'll come afterwards.
But then he's not going to get something. Yisro comes with a novel idea, and because of that he gets a parsha in the Torah for his name. Now says the Kodesh Baruch Hu, wait a second, we compensated Yisro, we rewarded him, but I don't want my children to think that I don't have anything to offer them. You know what, I'm going to offer them a few Mishpatim as well. Thank you so much. Ki tikne eved ivri. A few months ago I had this thought. Been bothering me for months. Reuven stole. The Beis Din is selling him as an eved. Or Reuven Stam happens to be poor and he wants to become a slave somewhere. So he puts himself up for sale. Puts big signs all over. For sale! A slave! Good shape. Can Reuven's son, Shimon, come and buy him as a slave? Could you imagine you're walking in the street with somebody next to you and your friend says, hey, Shalom Aleichem, how are you? Who's this next to you? Oh, that's my slave. Do you have a bigger disgrace to the father pointing and saying, this is my slave? On the other hand, we don't find an issue. There's Maseches Avadim. Maseches Avadim is small Masechtos in Shas after Masech Avodah Zarah. Maseches Geri, Maseches Talmud Torah, Maseches Mezuzah, Tzitzis, Maseches Avadim. There's no issue like that. The Rambam doesn't bring an issue like that. It would be very matim for Minchas Chinuch to discuss it. Minchas Chinuch doesn't discuss it, and I didn't see anyone discussing it. Anyone. So on one hand, perhaps it's the greatest bizayon in the world. On the other hand, it could be the biggest favor in the world. Kiddushin Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, a person can feed his father delicacies and go to Gehenna. And a person can make his father work very, very hard work and go to Gan Eden. Rashi over there explains, and in Yerushalmi it's a little further explained. The son gives his father the best food in the world. And he says, old man, you know how much this is costing me? And do me a favor, be silent when you, just like the dogs. When the dogs eat, they don't say, shh, don't say anything. The guy goes to Gehenna. On the other hand, when they come to take his father to be drafted to the army, and he says to his father, you know what, so you do the hard work that I'm involved in, and I'll go instead of you. Daddy, I don't want you to go there, it's dangerous. He goes to Gan Eden. So it depends how you do it. So if the son says, I'm going to buy you, Daddy, so no one else buys you as a slave, and I'm going to tell you, you sit here and just sit and learn Torah. Don't do anything. It's gewaltig. Anybody else would make you work. So maybe it's a great thing. Why not? You don't like it. How come?
Because it says Ratza Adoinav es Azno, right? Who does the Ritzia? The Adon does it?
The Adon only if the slave says, I want to stay here. That's dependent on.
Because he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. It's not shaykh to.
You're creating a new issue that doesn't appear in the Torah.
You're not allowed to wound his father, right?
First of all, this is a place that potentially is not going to bleed. Potentially, maybe, it's not going to bleed. The Chabala is to take out blood. Without blood, there's no Chabala. That's not the issue of the Torah. But when the father, if there's a doctor, top doctor, and the father says, I only want you to do this. There's no other doctors in town. The doctor takes out some of his blood. He does whatever he needs to do, whatever treatment. And so the Chabala that Torah says stay away from is stam, you're causing Chabala to your father. He uses for a need. And the father can avoid it by saying, okay, I'm going free after 6 years. Or maybe 3 years before the Yovel. Anyway, he's going to be freed. So there's ways around it. The problem is I didn't find anybody discussing it. And I can't create a new issue. I talked about this with many Talmid Chachamim and some of Gedolei Yisrael. Ibn Nebenzal Shlita told me he thinks it's asur. Why? Arur makle aviv ve'imon. The Torah curses a person who disgraces his father. To walk around with your father and say, oh, I just got it, a new slave. Oh, he's great. The greatest bizayon in the world to own a father who's going to be your slave. And therefore he says, Aru makle aviv imoy, if you ever have a chance, do not purchase your father as a slave.
Perhaps I could learn it out from the Parsha of Yosef, because Yosef was punished because his father described as Avdecha, wasn't he?
Yeah, you heard him saying a few times Avdecha to Esau, fine. But that's to say, you are my slave, but to actually be a slave, and the son is doing it for a mitzvah. I want to protect my father so no one else does it. I want him, you're going to be officially my slave, I'm not going to tell anyone, and you're going to just sit here and learn Torah all the time. What's the problem? You're saving him. But officially, he's your slave. Doesn't smell so good.
Would it be similar to, nowadays, someone had a business and he wanted to hire his father for an employee?
Nope.
Totally different.
It's very different. Because as an employee, you're not a slave, and you can actually leave. I don't like this. And you leave. You're not a slave. Veratza adoinav es oizno b'matzia. You just said that.
Isn't it also when you buy a slave, isn't it like kind of adon atzmo?
Kana Eved, Kana Adon Le'atzmo. Yeah, Kiddushin Chaf Aleph. If you buy your slave, Lemaise, as if you have a Adon. Why is that? Because if you only have one pillow, you're supposed to give it to him. You're supposed to give him the best. But Lemaise, you walk around and you say, you're the one carrying my stuff. Your father is supposed to be carrying your stuff. You know how embarrassing that is? What a disgrace. Who is it? It's my Eved. Would you like to be an Eved? Technically speaking, if there's only going to be one pillow, I'm going to give you a pillow, but you will be the Eved? You're not the Adon, you're the Eved. You are sold in Beis Din. I'll buy him. How much is it? No, it's a little too expensive. You know, okay, fine. Disgrace. Bizayon. Aru makle avi veimui. Veratza Adonai v'sasdom v'matzea. Piercing the slave's ear. Which one? The right or the left? Which one?
The right ear.
The right one. Why not? Why the right? Where'd you get that from?
The Mitzorah. That's where I see the right.
You looked at Rashi. Rashi brings the Gzera Shava. Yachol, Rashi asks, maybe it's the left ear? No, there's Ozen, Gzera Shava to the Mitzorah's ear, which we know is the right. Comes the Chanukah Satoya and says, what kind of a Gzera Shava is this? This he says when he was very young, the Chanukah Satoya. He asks on Rashi, we always prefer the right. If you didn't tell me which ear, I would go with the right. Because the right always has more chashivus. Throughout the Torah, there's all kinds of dinim that apply dafka to the right. So why do I need the Gzera Shava? Gevaldik. He says in Shir Hashirim Rabbah, and the pasuk that says, Yishakini minishiko spiu chazal darshan. Rab Shimon Bar Yochai Omer. The dibur, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave 10 commandments, it came out from the right side of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and came to the left side of Klal Yisrael. If that's the case, which ear heard the commandment, don't steal? The left ear. Oh, and you went and you stole, and because of that you became an Eved. So maybe only the left ear should be pierced. That's what Rashi had to bring you, the Gzera Shava that forces it. No, Dafka, the right ear.
Maybe said the left ear heard.
Haya hadibur yoitze, the dibur, HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaking, from the right side of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, lismoilan shel Yisrael, to the left of Klal Yisrael. That's how it came. That means the left ear heard it. And the left ear heard, don't steal, and the guy went and stole, so pierce the left ear. That's what we need the Gzera Shava to tell you no. The Mai say you pierce the right one.
I'll be shy you don't need that. Because maybe you don't need that because why does it say Yemanis by the Mitzorah?
What do you mean?
Meaning you see it has to say Yemanis by the Mitzorah.
But
why does it fakir? Maybe Yemanis by the Mitzorah, but
if it would say Yamanis by the Mitzorah, and also it would say the right one over here, you would say, why is it saying twice? I can learn Gzera Shava, Ozen. The Ozen is already mentioned. You must mention the word Ozen because I don't know what body part I need to pierce.
But I'm saying you see in the Mitzorah that you have to say Yeman.
You have to say it once, and from that it's a binyan av for all over else in the Torah where I see an ear.
I'm saying that takes away the
No, but what it says here, there's a reason why a dafka would say the left, because the Medrash says they heard it on the left ear. The left ear heard it, and yet the guy stole, so pierce the left one. Kamash malan, Gzera Shava to tell you, no, the right one. Verapo yerape. In Mishaberach, we said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should send refuah shleima ramach eivarav v'shasa gidav, 248 organs and 365 sinews. What if a person had his leg amputated? He doesn't have ramach eivarim. He doesn't have 248. He has 247. They chopped off his arm. Whatever other body part was taken. The Torah in this parsha says, distance yourself from lying. Midvar sheker tirchak. So can the Gabbai who gives him the Mishaberach say, ramach eivarav v'shasa gidav? The person himself says, when he is asking for refuah shlema, maybe we should change the formulation, lechol eivarav, or lechol eivara, a person is talking about himself. Why say 248 when he doesn't have 248? You're lying.
Can they get a nefesh? The nefesh, the neshama has his chalakim.
You're thinking like the Pardes Yosef. He says, spiritually, he has all the organs. Maybe you don't see part of them, and I'll prove it to you. Imagine this guy is going to have a child. Will he have all the organs? He will have two legs, the kid? Yeah. So you see, Lemaisa, he had it. You didn't see it. But he had all the Evarim, and therefore there's no problem to say it. Before one says Tehillim, there's a Tefillah, I'm printing many Sidurim to say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, don't take me until I complete 70 years here. So a person who's 72 shouldn't say it? So a person who's 72 should update the number? Until I'm, I don't want to say 74, 75. What do you do that? It says, don't take me until Ad she'ashlim shivim shana. So it is 70th birthday. What does he do? You know what you wish a person on his 120th birthday, right? Have a nice day. So what is this guy supposed to do? Can he continue saying it? Yes. Why? The meaning when we say 70 years is 70 years full of Torah and mitzvahs. And I doubt that this guy who's 70, 72, 74, whatever he is, has 70 full years of Torah and mitzvahs. What do I mean? There's a famous ma'aseh about many Sfarim, about this person who was traveling. And just before he came to this new city, he passed by the cemetery, right before the city. And he goes in and is astonished. The strangest thing he ever saw. On the gravestones, one of them says, here lies the great God, the Mekubal, Moshe, whatever, 7 years old. God Mekubal, 7 years old. He moves to the next one. Kan Kavu, here rests Rabban Shel Kol Bnei Agoyla, Maran, Rabbeinu, Sarah Torah, 8.5 years old. What does that mean? And from Keva to Keva, he says strange numbers and great accolades and titles. It doesn't make any sense. So he goes into the city, he goes to the Rav, and he says, what is this? It's a joke? Making fun? What? He says, what do you mean? Is an 8-year-old can be a Mekuba? A 9-year-old knows the whole Torah? What are you talking about? He says, here, we don't count the physical years, how many years a person spent here. We spend how much time he actually sat and learned Torah. So a person who learned 8 hours a day, we figure how much lemaisa years he made out of that, of Torah mitzvahs, and we say he was 8 years old because you only count upstairs the time that you dedicated to Torah mitzvahs. Other time is wasted. So it could be 3 years old, 8 years old. So to reach 70 full years of Torah mitzvahs, even the person who's 74 and 80 and 85 and 90, Mistama still didn't reach it, and therefore he can continue saying this tefillah. Verapo Yerape leads us to ask, there's a guy in New York, doesn't have too much money. The doctors diagnosed him with something very severe, very complex, and he had to have a very major surgery. And the two top doctors in the department, one is a Yid and one is not. And the Yid charges whatever number you want to say. Give me a number that fits New York's doctors. What's that? $1 million. Only $1 million. The Goyish doctor sits with his patient and so impressed. He's impressed with his personality. And he tells him his story, and he doesn't have money, he has a lot of kids. And the Goyish doctor says, you know what? I'll do it for free. Comes the patient and asks, should I go with the Yiddish doctor or should I go with the Goy? Why? He has two questions basically. Am I allowed to receive this from the Goyish doctor? The Gemara says, receiving tzedakah from a Goy is a big chilul Hashem, especially if done publicly. Big chilul Hashem. And the second thing, maybe I should prioritize the Jewish doctor because he's going to get more siyata dishmaya. A Goy, it's a good doctor. But the Jewish doctor, mistama, you have to assume he's going to get more siyata dishmaya, and therefore should I go with a guy who's going to charge me, it's going to cost me a lot of money. But for these two reasons, he wanted to ask the Chashuv of Beis Din, what do you say? Should he go with the Goyish doctor or the Jewish one?
Let's go with the Jewish doctor.
And why is that? Do you want to sponsor this? Do you want to sponsor this surgery? He doesn't have money.
Still don't take it.
Okay. You want him to sell the house and to live in the subway in New York.
You don't take it.
And why that? Why is that?
It's an embarrassment. You're taking from me.
It's a chilul Hashem. Chilul Hashem. So you want to live? So you want him and his 10 children?
Big check from a guy. We found out he was a guy. We gave him back the check.
So do you want him and his 10 children to live in the subway in New York?
We'll find another way.
You still don't want to sponsor him? Nice.
He's going to die.
With a bracha from you, Mitzvah Hashem is going to somehow maybe make it. I don't know.
No.
Major surgery. It's $1 million, and he must go for surgery. There's no question about it. The question is who's going to do it.
If you can't get the money, then he has to let the go do it.
He can go to all the gemachim, and maybe we're going to get something out of him. Maybe.
You go to Gemach, and then
We usually choose the best doctor.
Yeah, if one of them is better, we're going to go with the best doctor. Both of them are equal, top doctors in the department. So that's not a question. They're both equal in the professionalism. Doctor, who do you want to prefer? Not that it's Nogea to your Parnas or anything. The Goy! Shh! Wow. Would you like to tell us why? Or maybe provide some documentation? Yeah, without we don't move here.
There's a mitzvah de refuah to get paid for it Here the goy wants to do the mitzvah for free. That's like
A Jewish doctor cannot be paid? We do pay doctors.
yeah.
Big time.
Big time. So what's the problem?
But if the goy is offering them for free, why should you participate in this loophole to let the goy let the yid get paid?
Because you're addressing one thing and you're ignoring two other things.
It's not a mitzvah to pay the Jewish doctor to do the
But that it was only this problem, as if we have two other things here. He says Chilul Hashem, major Chilul Hashem to get tzedakah from a goy, major, and maybe the Jew is going to have more siyat dishma.
Is he from?
Who?
The Jew.
Very from. His base reached the knees. Tzitzis Chazonish style, all the way down. Very from. Keeps Rabbeinu tam.
How about the halacha? Is it the halacha that if a non-Jew is the Jewish charging, is it more than 16% for service than a non-Jew, then you're allowed to go and choose the non-Jew. So here the difference is a lot more than 16%.
The Pasuk says in Pashas Behar, O kano miyad amitecha. You should prefer, according to some of the Moine HaMitzvahs, it's a mitzvah dioisa. You should prefer buying something from the Yid and not from the Goy. But he's not selling me a service. He's giving me tzedakah, and tzedakah is chilul Hashem to take it from a Goy.
Where's the source for getting tzedakah from the goy being Hilul Hashem?
Oh, that's a good question. Where's the source? Where am I getting this from? Maybe I'm making it up. Let's see. In this question, there's actually four things that we have to deal with. Four things.
Maybe there's probably one more factor. This is first of all, there's a pikuach nefesh, and then there's a tzedakah that he's doing is not merabim. He's helping you save your life, sort of privately.
No, you think he's not going to put it in his resume? You think he's not going to advertise this?
No, but
You think he's not going to go, you think giving $1 million, you think he's not going to go on the TV, all TV channels, saying, no, I do this for free, it's going to be barabim.
Related to that, the Gemara says that refuah b'chinam is worth with magen, asig and magen.
This is one of our problems. There's four issues to deal with. First one is not allowed to receive tzedakah from a goy. It's called Chilul Hashem. Source, Baba Basra. Daf Yud Amud Beis, 10b. Shulchan Aruch Paskin Zis LaHalacha. Yoredea, Reish Nun Daled, Seif Aleph. One should not take tzedakah from a goy. Here, it's a greater Chilul Hashem. It's not to receive tzedakah from a goy is a Chilul Hashem. It's a saying, we can't do it without you guys. Our family, they don't support us. We don't take care of each other. We need you, Mr. Goy, to help us. Chilul Hashem. But here is more. Look, the Goyish doctor has more rachmanus on his brother than the Jewish doctor. Big Chilul Hashem. Only for money, the Jewish doctor is willing to save his brother. Big Chilul Hashem. 1. 2. Chilul Hashem aspect of receiving tzedakah from a goy is one, but there's a big other problem that Gemara discusses. It lengthens the galus. It gives him such a big schus upstairs when they do tzedakah, it extends the time that we have to suffer in galus.
How do we know that?
Gemara discusses it. It's a pasuk, B'ivosh Ketzira Tishabarna. When finally the schus of their giving tzedakah will end, galus will end as well. Do you want to stay a little longer? Isn't it enough? 1957 years? It's enough. Third, maybe there's more of a siyata dishmaya when the yid is going to perform the surgery, because the yid is involved in many mitzvahs. And they are. ונשמרתם מאוד לנפשותיכם, ורפו ירפא, ובחרת בחיים, השבס אבדה. You know, how do you even know that the doctor has to heal? Who says doctor has to heal a patient? It's not from our parsha, ורפו ירפא. That's permission for the doctor to heal, because you would think if the Kodesh Baruch Hu made the person sick, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to take it away. So the doctor has permission, but who says the doctor has to heal? That's a Gemara in Sanhedrin Ayin Gimel, and we learn it from the mitzvah called Hashavas Aveda, returning a lost item. And the Gemara said, if you have to return your friend's lost item, if you found a pin worth $5, how much more? So you have to restore his body, his health. That's where we learn it from. So he's involved also in Hashavas Aveda. He's involved with, when he has the medical knowledge, Lo ta'amod al dam recha. You see your friend drowning, and you have the ability to help him. And what about ve'ahavta lechecha kaboicha? So the doctor is involved in so many mitzvahs. Licheoira, you should prefer the Jewish doctor because he's going to have more siyat dishmaya because he's doing mitzvahs. And the fourth thing which you send us to is Baba Kama Pehei Amud Aleph Asya de b'magen magen magen shavya. In English, you get what you pay for. You pay zero, that's exactly the value that you get. Stay away, the Gemara says, from medical treatment, which that doesn't charge you. That's what you got. Go to the doctor. What do you think you're going to get? So these are the 4 problems that because of that, we should prefer the Jewish doctor who charges money.
Does that also apply to anything else that a guy wants to give you? Say politics. Someone comes and gives someone to run for the prime minister. They give him $100 million to become the prime minister, so he can broadcast.
That's not tzedakah. The reason he's giving him money is because when he's voted in, he'll go to him and say, listen, remember I helped you? I need A, B, C, D, and the list will go on and on. That's not tzedakah. That's called business.
Practically speaking, let's say the guy doesn't have $1 million.
No, he decided he's going to commit $500,000. With the rest, I think between us all here, we're going to help him. However, after saying all this, we should go with a goyish doctor. And throw everything I said until now to the garbage. Why? Sukkah Memtes Amud Aleph, the Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanon. Gemilus Chesed is greater than tzedakah in 3 things. And they are, tzedakah you do with your money. Gemilus Chesedim you do either with your money or with your body. The Gemara also continues, tzedakah you give to people who are alive. Gemilus Chesedim you do to people who are alive and people who are not here anymore. You go to the funeral, you do a lot of different things to the person who's no longer here. You can learn for his sake, whatever it is. So Gemilus Chesedim is greater. Gemilus Chesedim you can do whether to rich people or to poor people. Tzedakah you only do to poor people. I would add, tzedakah you only do weekdays. Shabbos you can also do Gemilus Chesedim. So Gemilus Chesedim is greater than tzedakah. But you see from this Gemara that tzedakah is defined what you give a person. You give him money, his assets increase. That is defined as tzedakah. What is chesed? Rashi explains over there. You're mesameach chasan and kala. You didn't give him $1, but you went and you danced a storm in the wedding. You bury the dead person. You accompany your friend. What you do with your body is considered gemilus chasadim. When you take out money from your pocket and give to someone, that's called tzedakah. According to that, when the goyish doctor is going to help our Jewish patient, he is not doing tzedakah. We looked at it wrong. And we're diffusing the first 2 problems. You're extending the galus, chilul Hashem. It's not tzedakah. It's called gemilus chesed. And this chilul Hashem aspect is only said about tzedakah and not about chesed. Lemaise, he is not going to increase what he has now in his pocket. He's just going to prevent him. You don't have to take money out of your pocket. That's not called tzedakah. He is going to perform the surgery on him with his body. That's just like escorting the accompanying your friend, kevuras hames, or any other chesed that you do with your body. What's the raya, 2 rayas for this? The Maharik in Shoresh Kuflam Gimel, Maharik is one of the Rishonim. Shoresh Kuflam Gimel, Seif Cotton Base writes, if you say to a person, to an ani, I'm going to give you tzedakah, that becomes a neder, and you must go through with it. But if you say to a person, I'm going to help you, you need some help, I'm going to help you schlep, you can retract, not so nice. But you can retract, it doesn't become a neder. It's a chiddush of the Torah, that when you say about tzedakah, I will give you, it becomes a chalois. It mamish makes it into a neder. Your words can become a neder just by saying, committing to something, not by chesed. So, even though it's worth money, chesed, but it's not tzedakah. Tzedakah is when I give you something, assets or money, and your pocket inflates. Here his pocket is not going to inflate. More than that. A person receives money, 10 shekels. Does he have to give meiser? New fresh money, $10. You have to give money? Yeah. This patient who will receive a surgery worth $50,000, $1 million, does he have to give meiser from it? No, he didn't receive tzedakah money. He was denied access to his pocket. He don't have to go into your pocket and take out money. It's not considered that he received something, and therefore we don't have the problem of chilul Hashem. We don't have the problem of extending the galus. More than that, the doctor who's doing this, he's the one who's receiving. What do you think? He's not going to advertise himself? You think he's not going to put it on his resume? Everybody's going to be talking about him. And this kavod, look at this, he's such a tzaddik. Wow, he treats people sometimes for free. That's worth money. I think many doctors would be very happy not only not to receive money, they would actually pay to be able to say, do you know that I'm the personal doctor of President, whoever it is, of the Prime Minister, of Elon Musk? Wouldn't you be very proud to say it? It's great for you. It's great to put on your resume. Mimele, the doctor is doing it, he's a tzaddik, but Lemaisi is going to gain from it, so as if the patient is paying him. I don't know how much, how to quantify it, but he is paying him because the doctor is going to gain from it. Why is there no lack of siyata dishmaya when it's going to be a goyish doctor over a Jewish one? First of all, we don't find such a taina in the poskim. Poskim don't bring such a thing. Second of all, if this goyish doctor is an expert, and you see that he's successful, you see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him siyata dishmaya. I don't know why, but he's successful. Why did he become the top doctor in the department? Because he's successful, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu gives him siyata dishmaya when he heals people. And therefore, one is allowed to go to him. And this was a minhag in all the generations of Gedolei Yisrael that went themselves to Goyish doctors and sent to Goyish doctors if they were, in fact, experts. What about our third time, Baba Kama Pei Hey? If one treats for free, that's exactly what it's worth. First of all, that's not a statement that Chazal say, you're not allowed to go there. It's a taina that the one who was damaged can say to his friend who says, listen, I know a doctor, I'll heal you for free. When you get something for free, that's what it's worth. It's a taina for the one who was damaged to say, I don't want your treatment. I want to go to my doctor. I want to go to a different doctor. But it doesn't say that people will not be healed when you're getting it for free. Chas v'sholom. And many people treat for free. Many doctors. Abba Umna in Maseches Tainis, and he was very successful. And he even got regards from Shamayim every single day. They came to say hello to him because he was so successful. Because when people didn't have money, he didn't take money from them. So Lemaisa, it's not an absolute statement of Chazal. That's what it's worth. You're not going to get anything. It's only a way out for the person who was damaged. And it's not shaykh in our case. Because today, a doctor who treats for free, he knows that if he's going to do a bad job, he can be sued for everything that he has or will have forever. Who's going to want to do that? More than that. So no doctor is going to dafka say, I'm not going to take this seriously. Your name is on the line. You're going to be publicized in all the media. People are going to say, look at this guy, what he did. No one is going to come to you in the future. So Avada is not going to treat him. And we know many people, many doctors, who treat for free, whether Jewish or not, and do a great job. It's Melechas HaKodesh. They know what they're involved in. That's why they became a doctors. Mimele, this Goyish doctor could also have refused. Why did he offer it? He's the one who offered to do this. So Mele, he wants to keep a good name. It's going to be good for his resume. There's no tzedakah receiving from the Goy in this one. And seemingly it shouldn't be no problem going to this doctor. It's kedai to know what the Rosh writes in Baba Kama. Perek Ches Siman Aleph, very kedai to know. In order to be healed, it's very important that the patient should be happy with the doctor. Tzarich shetiyeh lachoyle koiras ruach me'harofeh. If you go to the top doctor, but you're intimidated by him, you're afraid, you don't like him, he doesn't have the right rapport with it, it's no good. The doctor has to have a nice relationship with the patient. The patient has to be happy with this person, and that helps being healed. You want to ask something?
Yes, this is not what was said before, that the doctor will get the publicity, advertisement, and so on. So he's getting paid.
That's what I said. He's getting paid. Technically speaking, I'm not taking out money from my pocket, but he's getting paid. Double language. V'rapo yerape. We spoke about it in previous years, I think, a few times, but Achidish. What is rapo yerape? Achidish from my daughter. Oh Hashem. The Gemara in Megillah, Daf Yud Gimel says, the Kodesh Baruch Hu's makdim refuah lamaka. The refuah is already there. You don't see it. V'rapo, we ask the Kodesh Baruch Hu, we go to the doctor and we ask that the refuah that it's already there should be revealed. That's why double language. If it was only one, you say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates the medicine right now, the healing, the treatment, whatever it is, right now. No, it was already there. V'rapo, just allow us to see that which you have created before. And there's another remez in this. To the doctor itself. Doctor, don't become arrogant. The patient comes to the doctor, so he treats him, and he thinks, V'rapo, I healed him. No. You are the shaliach of Yerape. You're shaliach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who just revealed the curtain from the refuah that he already had before, ready for this patient. So it's a double message for the patient and for the doctor, and therefore double language. You did so good on the previous halachic question, and therefore it's a chance to ask another one. Reuven was very rich. Very rich. Unfortunately, he lost his wife when he was 60 years old. Remarried. A very nice doctor. Very nice doctor. They lived together for 20 years. At the age of 80, this Reuven got Alzheimer's. Bad case. His wife is a very good doctor. She's 60 years old. She's 20 years younger than him. 20 years younger, 60 years old. And she wants to take care of him. Reuven's son, from the first marriage, says, wait a second. I see on the ksuba, my father signed, he's going to give you half of what he has. Half of what he has is half of New York. The guy is a billionaire. So, I like you very much. You're a very nice lady. But I want to bring a doctor from the outside. Twice a week, he should take care of my father. The wife says, you're going to cause me such a bad name. Did I do any harm? Why are you suspecting me? Did I do anything wrong? And when you do that, and you bring somebody from the outside, what are people going to say? Look, this guy's son doesn't even trust his father's wife. You're going to cause such a bad name among all the doctors and potential patients. It's terrible. Why are you doing this? He said, with all due respect, I want my father to receive the best possible treatment. And when you know billions and billions of dollars are dependent here, and he's 80 years old, does the son have the right to demand such a thing? Not everybody together, Rabbi Isai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niya bidvaroi. No. Shimuna Rabbi Isai, Dayanim Mumchim. Yes, no, maybe.
The children have a right to decide what kind of care the parents get?
Does the wife have a right to decide what kind of a treatment her husband gets?
I think more than the
Why?
kid, I would think.
Why?
She's used to do
For everything. So she can put tefillin instead?
like a shat, like a chavrusa shaft together, husband and wife. So she take care of each other. That's
What happens after the husband dies? You give her the ksuba and she goes away. The kids are always going to be there. They get all the money, all the Yerusha. Who has more a connection? And what if he divorces her? Can you divorce your kids? They're always going to be your kids. But the wife, no, not necessarily.
If we have those suspicions, at age 61, she could have put some chemicals on his food and finished the story.
That's what the son is suspecting.
Why? They lived for quite some time and she didn't kill him yet.
Yeah, because she had a nice time. Now that he's sick and old, she may think, I'm doing a mitzvah. Many people sign on their will, if I get to this situation, don't connect me to any, leave me alone. I'm doing a mitzvah. What kind of quality of life does he have? I should extend it for what? I'm involved in a mitzvah. And also on the mitzvah, I'm also going to be, when I get all this money, you know what, chesed and tzedakah I'm going to do with all this new money? It's only mitzvah. It's tzedakah. That's what the son suspects. Or he doesn't want to cause a stumbling block before a blind person. So let me bring a doctor from the outside. She says, what are you doing? You're destroying my name. You like it or not?
It's a strange situation. Why would she want to be her husband's doctor?
What do you mean? Married for 20 years. I love him dearly. Why wouldn't I want to treat him?
She can't prescribe medications for her husband.
Why not?
Conflict of interest is not. She can't.
So for that, she needs intervention from the outside, she'll get it. But you want us to bring somebody here twice a week, I can do everything. Does he have the right to suspect this lady? That's the question. And act upon it. You don't like it. The Gemara seems to like it. Unbelievable Gemara. Ksubis, Kuf Beis, Amud Beis. Unbelievable. The Gemara says, a father that dies, and he leaves a little kid. Machlokes. Who's going to raise this little kid? The mother says, I want to raise him. And the Yoshim, the other brothers and sisters, we want to raise him. We're going to make him a big Talmid Chochem, a Godel B'Yisrael. Says the Gemara, don't give him to the Yoshim. Give him to the mother. The Gemara says, Maise Shehaya, when a father died, he left a little kid, and he stayed with his brothers, and they shechted him ba'erev harishon, that first night. Why? They want a bigger piece of the Yerusha. If we get rid of this kid, of this one of our brothers, we each get a bigger share in the Yerusha. The Gemara says, this happened, Bet Ayin Reish Hei, ba'erev harishon. But in many girsaos of the Rishonim, Meiri, Nimuke Yosef, Piskei Reed, the Agar Sayavitz, he says that you're reading it wrong. Bet Ayin Reish Hei is be'erev HaPesach. This happened erev HaPesach. And the Chiddush is, they want Choshesh to become Tameh by killing this kid because they want the Risha. Because money will drive you nuts. And therefore, when you have a suspicion that somebody's going to do something in order to receive more money, there's half of this guy's money. It's like Suba, half of this guy's money. He's 80 years old. She's going to say, what kind of a life he's going to have? I'm helping him. I know he never wanted, he always told me, if he reaches this position, he doesn't want to be helped. I'm just going to help him. End this misery. And therefore, she's only 60 years old. She says, what do I have to get stuck now treating him for the next who knows how many years? I'll get rid of him. Get married again. Gewaldig. Sefer Hasidim. Rishonim. Simen Tafrei Samech. He says it was a maaseh with a guy who lost his sons. Before he died, he says to his Talmidim, I don't have any sins. But I did do some introspection to figure out why this happened to me, and I realized it's because of one thing. I had a sister, younger than me. She got married, and then she became a widow. And I could have found her a husband, but I didn't want to because she had a lot of money, and I was waiting, when is she going to die? So I'm going to get all her assets, and because I was waiting for her to die, I lost my kids. You see, even honorable chashuva, distinguished people can have, when money comes, it changes everything. This guy had talmidim, so Mistama is a chashuva person. You see, when it comes to money, there is room for suspicion. The best thing to do, if this doctor agrees, if the woman agrees, have somebody come and supervise what you're doing. Put some cameras. If you're happy with this, great. But if you're not happy, and she probably is not going to be happy with this because he doesn't want people to oversee her, that means you're not doing a good enough job. There is room for this suspicion of the son. And more than that, the son offered that he will pay for the doctor. You can actually use the father's money to do this. This is to treat the father himself. Because it's a valid concern, you'll be able to use the father's money to get the doctor from the outside.
Maybe the son will bribe the doctor to give bad care because he wants to get the Yerusha faster. Why should?
Maybe. But as soon as he does that, what happens to his stepmother? She receives half of the ksuba.
But in the meantime, he gets
what does it say in the ksuba? If I die or if I divorce you. So when he does that, so what does he care that she'll do it? Anyway, she's going to get 50%, and he'll get all the Yerusha. Same thing happens. So if he's concerned and he wants to delay it, it makes sense that he wants to keep his father alive. Because anyway, she's going to get 50%. The ksuba means not only when divorced, also when the husband dies.
About the general rule, don't call Adam the kapsachus.
Sure. What about the general rule, kabdeu v'chashdeu? Two statements of Chazal. Honor him and suspect him. On the other hand, judge lekaf schus. How does that work? Says the Yavitz, Pirkei Avos. After the fact, you saw something, you're not sure, kaf schus. Judge him favorably. Ahead of time, you meet a person, you don't know who he is. Kabdeu, honor him. V'chashdeu, suspect him.
The son is more chashid than the wife.
Why?
In the meantime, she's married to him.
What is he suspecting?
In the meantime, she's sitting on top of the whole money anyways together with him.
Good. Why does he want to do this?
She loses, when she divorces, when he dies, she gets only half.
No matter what, she's going to get half.
No,
If
right now she's sitting on top of the whole money. He has this money and she's married to him.
Right.
She's Mrs. Millionaire.
Right.
When he dies, she only gets half.
But she can't use it. She can't take her money, her husband's money, and use it.
She doesn't. And if the son is more chashuv, the son is a zero.
No, it could be that the son has the rights to conduct his father's bank account. So he sees exactly what's happening. She can't take anything more than whatever the husband gave or gives her. But when he dies, she's going to get immediately 50%.
But the son also, no?
But the son, if he kills him, she also gets that 50% that the son wants to avoid. He wants to continue having his father around. It's a valid concern. You see from the Maaseh of the Gemara that Yoshim, she receives 50%, may kill a person who's very dear to them, very close. It's my husband.
But over there, Yesh L'Chalik, because over there, the Tinok over there that they killed definitely reduces their Yerusha. They kill and they immediately get a bigger hill for the Yerusha.
Right. Here,
she's going to get it.
No. The son can daven every single day that she will die first. If she dies, he gets 100%. I don't recommend that he does that, but it can be. Ayin tachas ayin, an eye for an eye. What does it really mean, an eye for an eye? Comes to Tiferet Shlomo and says, if you use your eyes correctly, look at people's good, positive character traits. Don't look at their shortcomings. Don't look at what you're not allowed to look. Shmiras Einayim. So it awakens a Kodesh Baruch Hu's eye to watch over you in a good manner. Ayin tachas ayin, the way your ayin down here, tachas ayin, down here, awaken the Kodesh Baruch Hu's eye up there to watch over you, letoiva or chas v'shalom, the opposite. So if you do it the right way and you avoid what you're not allowed to do, Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to do the same. And he says, you always look at people's positive character traits. You know what? I'm also going to ignore those negative things, and I'm going to concentrate and focus on those good things that you did, and I'm going to ignore all the wrong things. HaKadosh Baruch Hu acts in a midah keneged midah. So the way you use your eye is the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu uses his eye when he watches over us. But what does it really mean? Ayin tachas ayin. Moya b'kamaise. Oyev Yisrael brings a maise from Reb Shrira Gaon, and therefore it carries a lot of weight. We're talking Gaon, Gaonim. In the time of the Shrira Gaon, there was a very rich guy who had a Sefer Torah written by Ezra HaSofer. When this rich guy died, there's a big machloikis between both his sons, who is going to inherit this unbelievable Sefer Torah written by Ezra HaSofer. And they both said, I don't want the money. I don't want the gold. I want that Sefer Torah. And this guy who died should get a lot of credit for that type of a chinuch. It's a rich guy, and he educated him so they prefer the Sefer Torah over all the gold and silver. At the end, they decided they're going to do some kind of a goyal lottery. And one of them, let's say Reuven, he got the Sefer Torah. He is so happy. Shimon, who receives all the gold and silver, is so upset. And Mamish, he had Yisurim because of this. There was a mumar in town who heard this, and he got so upset. These idiots! They prefer the Sefer Torah over the gold and silver, and this guy who lost is sick because of it? That is nuts! What did he do? He got dressed up, nobody should recognize him. He went to the shul. He hid there in the corner. After Maghrib, everybody left the shul. This guy took out the Sefer Torah, opened it up, and it was ready on Parshas Mishpatim. The pasuk over there says, "Va'avadetem es Hashem Elokeichem uvirech es lachmecha." Serve Ribono shel Olam. He made just a tiny little mistake, tiny little change. Instead of "Va'avadetem" with an ayin, you should serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They changed the ayin to an aleph. I don't know if you're allowed to say this. Ve'ibadetem. What does that mean? Erase, destroy. Nobody knows. He closed the Sefer Torah, put it back in. That's it. Nobody knows. Shabbos is Parshas Mishpatim. Took a Sefer Torah to read. The Baal Koireh gets there. Ah! He calls the rabbi. Sefer Torah is puzzle. Sefer Torah is puzzle. When Reuven, who is now the owner of Sefer Torah, heard about this, he was mamish destroyed. And he became sick. He says, no matter, it can be fixed. We can fix it. But it's never going to be called the Sefer Torah of Ezra HaSofer. He went to sleep. His father came to him in a dream. And his father told him, don't worry, I have two things to tell you. First of all, go to the shul, and I'll tell you which table to look under. That's where the guy sat and did it. And you'll find his eye. He took an ayin, the letter ayin, and he lost his eye. Go and you'll find the eye. He went and he checked her, and the eye was there. And he said to him, you're worried about nobody being able to come and fix it. It's not going to be Ezra HaSofer? Don't worry. The Psak Din in Beis Din Shel Shamayim came out that no one shall fix the Sefer Torah. Ezra HaSofer is going to come from Shamayim and fix the Sefer Torah, and that's what happened. And that's the literal meaning of an eye for an eye. Ayin, a real ayin, for an ayin, a letter ayin, that he destroyed in the Sefer Torah. Pastor says, Machasheifa, what you do with her? Rotechaye. What's a machsheifa? A witch. Sorceress. Who's the first one? The first who knew the wisdom of Kishuf. First one in the world. What's that? Oh, he's late. Lavan. Much before him. Sefer Seder HaDoros brings in Taf Nun Zayin Cham, so it's much earlier than Bilam or Lavan, knew Soides, the secrets of Kishuf. Which leads me to ask you a shayla. Gevaldik. There's a kid who was kidnapped. And the mother went crazy, father as well, and they did everything, mamish everything possible. Can't find him, vanished. After a few years, the mother went to a machasheifa. She went to the sorceress. Where is my son? Is he alive? And she did what she does. And she says, yep, he's alive. He's in this and this address. He is hosted by the family, let's call him Berkowitz. And he knows that he's adopted. The wife goes back home and she says to her husband, what you did? And he starts yelling at her. The Torah says, you have to kill this witch. What are you doing? Who gave you permission? It's an Issa D'Oraisa. She says, you're right. Chatasi, Avisi, Bashati. You're right. But now they have a shayla. Can you act upon it? She gave me an address. She told me the name of the family. Can I go and check if in fact it's true? Or, just like you're not allowed to go to her, just not allowed to go to her, and she's not allowed to exercise whatever she does, I'm not allowed to benefit from it after the fact. How do you say, Rabbi Say?
I didn't know it was from Kisha if she found it out. You could suffer.
Nevoah?
You could say she just guessed.
Guest? Berkowitz family, and this address, top floor. But she went there as a kish. She saw a certificate on the wall, certified witch. And she asked her to use her magic strengths, whatever that is, and energy, or whatever she uses, find out where my son is. And she said, wait a second. She did what she did. My kishuf says, your son is here. Are you allowed to use that information to go?
What I'm saying, once you have the information, it's a pikuach nefesh situation.
What pikuach nefesh? She says the kid is having a great time. Maybe even better than in your house. So it's not because, if it's pikuach nefesh shayla, it overrides the whole Torah. No pikuach nefesh shayla. She wants to know where her son is, and I understand her. But let's say the witch is saying your son is having a great time. Mamish, he's growing to be a tzaddik, godol ado. What's the problem? No pikuach nefesh shayla. No pidyon shvui, it's not a shavui, it's not a hostage. He's loving it there. He couldn't stand his real parents. That's a chashash. That's a real chashash. We'll soon see what he means. Could be gilui arayos. We'll soon see what it means. Licheoira, the Machashefa herself did an Isur Torah called Koisem. The Rambam describes in Hilchos Akum, Perek Yud Aleph, Allah Chavav, Ezehu Koisem. What is a magician which is not allowed to? And he says, he does all kinds of maisim in order to remove his das from everything else to be able to focus on that thing. And he says, this is going to happen. Or this thing is going to happen, but it doesn't happen. You should do this, or you shouldn't do that. And then you'll have success. And he says some magicians use sand, some of them use stone, some of them lie down on the ground, they start yelling and doing all kinds of things. Some look in the mirror, some look in certain metals, and some hold certain sticks, and he looks at the stick and he starts saying all kinds of things. Says the Rambam, one who goes to an Ov and Yidoini gets Makas Mardus. Makas Mardus is Makas de Rabbanon. There's no number. The Torah says 39 Makos, but when Rabbanon want to give Malkos, they can give whatever they want. 2, 2.5, 242, 6,000, whatever they feel like. Makas Mardus. The Rema writes that the Isur is because, in Pasha Shoftim, the Pasuk says, Tamim tihiyeh im Hashem Elokecha, be wholeheartedly with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Don't look into the future. And the Gaon writes that what the Rashbam writes in Psochim, Kuf Yud Gimel Amud Beis, that the one who goes to ask, not only the Oven Yiduni when they're doing it, they're doing an Isur Torah, but the one who goes and asks for their advice is also transgressing. That's only Oven Yiduni. Because there the Pasuk says, Al Tifnu, don't go to them. By a koisem, it doesn't say don't go to him. It just says, Lo yebecha. You shouldn't have amongst you these type of people. So it doesn't say that you're not allowed to go to him. But lemaise, after one asked, can you use their advice? Seemingly from the doctor, it says, from the Rambam, it seems as an isu. The Rambam writes, regarding Menachesh, Kol ha'oise maise mipnei davar midvarim eilu loike. If anyone does anything because of these things, he gets malkos. That means not only the one who is asked is doing an isu when he answers, not only is an isu to go to him, you actually can't act upon it after the fact. And the Lechem Mishneh writes, the Rambam wrote it about a koisem. I'm sorry, the Rambam wrote it about Ovi Yidoini, but it's the same idea regarding the koisem. So why didn't the Rambam write it? Because he relies on our memory that we remembers what he wrote a few halachos ago about the Ovi Yidoini, and he said the same thing applies. That's the Lechem Mishneh. But, L'choira, the Rambam wrote, what he wrote, only when the koisem, these magicians, they tell you, if you're going to do this, you're going to succeed. If you're going to do that, you won't succeed. Then you're not allowed to listen. Here, the magician is just giving you an address. Go and check. I'm pointing to a certain direction, and I'm allowed to go and check. Rabbi Yosef Zatzal said about this Maaseh, we find an issue regarding Hilchos Shabbos. Maaseh Shabbos is asur. We don't find such an issue about Maaseh Kishuf. We don't find such an issue. There's still a chashash that you're legitimizing it by going and listening to her, and it's going to be successful. You're legitimizing. People will go after you as well, do the same thing. But because of two major things here, two major chashashos, says Rabbi Yosef, you can and you should go check. First of all, if this kid, he doesn't know who his real parents are, who his real family is, potentially he can go marry his sister tomorrow. He can marry one of his relatives that he's not allowed to. Gilui arayos. Big chashash. Second of all, three reasons. That's first of all, Gilui arayos. Second thing, we must make sure that we go against these type of things. Terrible thing. And then we must try to prevent it. Maybe the family will help us somehow to find the people who did it, to make sure this never happens again. We got to grab him, punish him. Make sure. And therefore, because of these reasons, Rabbi Yosef says, you can act upon it, even though normally we would say, stay away. But in this case, yeah. There is a medrash in Kedoshim, and Rashi brings it in Parashas Kedoshim. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, a person shouldn't say, Chazir, which is disgusting. Shatnez, I wouldn't wear it if you give me $1 million. No. A person should say, Chazir, it sounds delicious. My Goyish neighbor eats Chazir all day long. And he's strong and fit, and he lives a very long life and a healthy life. I would love to have Chazir. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to, and because of that I don't. Shatnez, great looking suit. It's Shatnez. I would wear it. Of course, it looks amazing. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to, and therefore I don't. Comes the Chanukah Satorah and says, with that we can explain. There's a Gemara in Chulin Kuf Tes Amud Beis, where the Gemara says, Kol ma de'asar lan rachmana, shara lan kavasei. Everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, no good, asur, he allowed you a sample of that thing which is mutar. For example, you're not allowed to eat chazir, but you are allowed to eat a fish called shibuta. Rashi explains it's a big fish, that the taste of its brain, Machlokes Yalkut Shimon in Rashi, there's two girsaos, the taste of its tongue or the taste of its brain is mamish like chazir. Says the Chanukah Satorah, why is that? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you a sample of that which is mutar? Because you can't apply this medrash that says, for everything in the world you should say, it's great, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to. How do you know it's great? Who told you chazir is great? Maybe you hate it. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, here's a sample. You'll see exactly what chazir tastes like, and you'll see it really is delicious. And now you can say, I would like to have chazir, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to. That's why we have all those samples of those things which are forbidden. Great. Can you say this about all the aveos? Or only what Chazal say? No, why not? Why not? I would do everything, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu said no, so I listen to him.
There's certain things that are bad for your...
Like what? Like what?
I would say certain ta'ava.
What about Avodah Zarah? Can you say, I would, Avodah Zarah? Of course I would do. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to, so I separate from it, just like Chazir and Kinai. Of course not. If you say, I would love Avodah Zarah, you admit to other gods. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to serve them. So there are other deities out there? Chas v'shalom. Where is this alluded to? In our parsha? Mamash, the Torah says it. V'shem Elohim acherim lo tazkiru, lo yishama al picha. But what does it say before that? Uvechol asher amarti aleichem. What does it mean, tishameru? Bechol asher amarti aleichem. All the other mitzvahs, only tishameru. Make sure you don't do it. But tomru, you can say whatever you want. You can say, I would love to do this. But Shem Elohim acherim, other gods, lo tazkiru, lo yishama al picha, don't even mention it in your mouth. Because when you do, you in essence are saying, there are other gods out there. Great. Lemaise.
Also, what about Shabbos? I mean, you say that, I would like to,
why not?
personally, I can
Like Chazir. I would love to eat Chazir. Kodesh Baruch Hu told me not to, so I'm listening to him. I would love to drive on Shabbos. Kodesh Baruch Hu told me not to, so I listen to him. What's the problem? What's the problem? But you say other gods, you're saying, I'm only not serving the real gods over there because Kodesh Baruch Hu told me not to. That's a big problem. And it's mamish alluded to in the Torah. And the Sforah basically says the same thing. And all the other warnings that I said, you need to be careful not to transgress. But in the Avodah Zarah, it's not enough to make sure you don't transgress Avodah Zarah. You need to make sure that you don't even mention its name. But lemaise, what about other Averos? It seems that it's not all-inclusive. Why? Rambam. Shmona Prakim writes, those things which are disgusting to all people, for example, Shfichus Damim, killing. Can you say, I would love to kill? HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me not to. I would love to steal. I would love to wrong a lot of people.
I would like to damage those people who never did anything wrong to me. I would like to punch in the nose the guy who helped me yesterday. What kind of person are you? I would like to desecrate my parents. Says the Rambam, all these things. One who will have a desire to do them, he calls him a nefesh chaseira. His nefesh is not complete. It's lacking. A major part. Says the Rambam, no doubt that the nefesh ha'me'ula, the exalted, perfect, great neshama, is never going to desire to do such a terrible thing. And therefore, he says, those mitzvahs that even if the Torah wouldn't give you, you would anyways do, don't desire to transgress them. But those things that don't make sense to us, don't eat chazir. Don't wear shatnez. Why not? Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu said, that you can desire to say, is desire to do and say, but I'm not doing it just because the Kodesh Baruch Hu said. And therefore, look at the language of the Medrash we started with. The Medrash says a person should not say, oh, chazir is disgusting. Shatnez, oh, disgusting. No, you should say, chazir, I would love to try. Sounds great. Shatnez, I would love to wear. And therefore, says the Rambam, Chazal didn't say, killing, I would love to try it out, but the Kodesh Baruch Hu said no. No. It comes out that you can't say, Efshi Umaya said, no, I'd like to do it, but Kodesh Baruch Hu told me not to. You can say it for those things Chazal mentioned. Those things that don't make sense to us, I only separate from them only because the Kodesh Baruch Hu said. But those things that every normal human, sane person stays away from, you chas v'shalom to say it, and we should stay from them as well. Good Shabbos, Rabbi Yisai.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.